Watch TV, promoting sustainable development.
Your Wednesday evenings are always best spent with me, 𝐌𝐞𝐧𝐬𝐭𝐫𝐮𝐻, your gorgeous host on the Youth Avenue on Watch TV channel. And of course, I do enjoy spending it with you too. Good evening to you all and welcome to tonight's special episode of the Youth Avenue. I said tonight is a special episode because we are going to discuss menstrual hygiene management. Yeah, and I have two beautiful ladies here with me who are going to join in the discussion. But before I introduce them to you, I would like you to please subscribe to our YouTube page if you have not done that yet. And also follow us on all our social media handles at Watch TV channel. The program is also sponsored by the Center for Volunteerism and Social Transformation, CENVAST. Tonight we are going to discuss menstrual hygiene management. It's a topic that we usually don't talk about, but I think it is very important we pay much attention to this subject. I have two beautiful ladies here with me. One is a nurse. Her name is Abigail Azuma. She's at the DSO Government Hospital. Abi, you are welcome.
Thank you.
And I also have here the Regional School Health Education Programs Coordinator in the person of Ruth Edu. You are welcome, Miss.
Thank you.
And it's an honor to have you here. Actually, tonight is a ladies' night. Yeah, so we are going to relax and then talk about everything ladies. This menstrual hygiene management is all about ladies. Guys are not included. So let's delve more into it. We know what nurses do. Yeah, so I'm going to give Ruth the chance to tell us a bit about their program.
Thank you. So, School Health Education Program has been in the system since 1992.
Yeah.
So before 1992, there were partners coming to do activities in our schools, but the activities were not coordinated. So in 1992, SHEP was launched to some kind of coordinate the activities of partners or people that had the interests of the children at heart, and then they were doing activities solely on disease prevention and then hygiene promotion and then also management of certain conditions. So once SHEP was launched in 1992, it kind of helped to coordinate the activities of health intervention that were being run in schools that were not being supervised. So it was kind of spontaneous and then repeated activities in schools. Okay. So basically that is what SHEP seeks to do. So currently the unit is with GES, and then we have a director and some other program officers that help partners who have the interest of the school child at heart and want to do programs in schools.
Okay.
So when any partner comes around to come and give a helping hand to school children in terms of disease prevention, in terms of health education, is this unit in GES that help or partner with whoever is interested in the welfare of the school child.
Okay.
So basically that is what I would say.
Okay, so you go to various schools to educate them on all
So what happens is that at the regional level, or let me start from the national.
Okay.
So GES national or GES headquarters, we have a unit there that is being headed by a director. And then when you come to the regional level, we have the regional SHEP coordinator who works under a regional director of education. And then also we have the district or the municipal coordinators. And then even at the school level, we have what we call the school-based health coordinator who is a teacher. Even though teachers are teaching in the classroom, teachers have been assigned the role of school-based health coordinator so that when it comes to information dissemination, they help. Okay. So it moves from the headquarters to the regional to the district level, then even at the school level. So basically that is what happens within the structures.
Oh, okay, that's nice. Okay, so Abby, you are the nurse here. I know most of us know about menstrual hygiene. So I'd like you to go a bit deeper into this menstruation and then its related issues.
Okay, so when we say menstruation, menstruation is basically the, let me say, the discharge of blood from the female. It happens of an interval of a month from puberty up to menopause, except when there is pregnancy, then there will be no menstruation. And the pathology of menstruation is that the female hormones, the ovaries releases female hormones, estrogens and pathogens, and they build up a lining around the uterus. And the built up lining around the uterus is ready to accept fertilized egg. That's if there is an intercourse and fertilization takes place, and then the egg is released and it's attached to the lining of the uterus. But in the absence of any intercourse and fertilized egg, the built up lining of the uterus breaks and then bleeds, and that's what is called the menstruation.
Okay. So why is menstruation or education on this menstrual hygiene so important?
Okay, it's important in various communities and then say the whole nation to eradicate the improper disposal of menstrual products, and then the health aspects, like if we don't take proper care of ourselves during menstruation, it holds a higher risk of reproductive disorders, and then sometimes it may cause infertilities and then infections as well.
Wow. And Ruth.
Yes.
Ruth, yes. Ruth, we know that 28th May was set aside to mark Menstrual Hygiene Day.
Yeah.
So what was the theme, or what was this whole thing about? Why did they even bring about something like Menstrual Hygiene Day?
Yeah, so Menstrual Hygiene Day has been in inception since 2014.
2014.
Yes. So in every 28th May, globally, there is a platform. It's all about getting a platform, a common platform where we join our voices together to create awareness about good menstrual health and then hygiene for women and then girls. So let's say there has been a lot of misconceptions and made social norms and taboos surrounding menstruation. So we needed to create an awareness to break this social norm so that girls and women will get that space to be informed that, okay, even though we are menstruating, when somebody is menstruating, yes, menstruation is good, but there are social norms that keeps the women or the young girls away from getting involved in a lot of things.
Yes.
We wanted to break that silence, to break that barrier, so that even though you are menstruating, menstruation doesn't become a barrier to you getting exposed or giving the chance to do what other people do or what the men will do. So it's more or less creating an awareness and then eradicating the social taboos that we have that surround menstruation, so that we can create equity within the system for everybody to operate.
Okay.
So on every 28th May, there are a lot of activities that are planned, especially when it comes to the in-school child. So we engage them in diverse activities, poetry, recitals, drama, and then also we teach them proper way of taking care of yourself, because we realize that even though menstruation is very important, like Auntie Abby said, if you do not take very good care of yourself, the hygiene portion of it, if the child or the school girl who is menstruating neglects it goes away to affect the school child. So every 28th May, we want to create the awareness and then create a platform advocate for support for the young girl who is menstruating that have challenges, so that those who can help can come on board and then offer their support, especially when it comes to provision of this sanitary menstrual hygiene materials and the stuff. So that is all this global menstrual hygiene day is about. So every 28th May we kind of
but the question here is, must we wait till 28th May before we do these educations on menstrual hygiene?
No, I would say no. So you realize that when it comes to the school curriculum, there are portions or certain subjects that lend itself to the discussion of the physical, the changes that occur in adolescence. So
our favorite topic.
Yes. So we give information to the young girls when we get the opportunity. And then these days there are a lot of club activities that the children are given the opportunity to also talk about themselves. And so you find out that sometimes some of these topics come up and then they discuss it. But it's, the 28th May has been earmarked basically for this, so that we create awareness.
So if you don't do it any other day, on that very day we must do it.
Yes. So that is it. So if, like you rightly said, if you do not get the opportunity to teach them anything about menstruation or themselves, then on 28th day, May Day, we have to give them the opportunity and then create the awareness and then bring all the people that matter on board. Yes.
Very important.
Yes.
Yeah, you mentioned some of the misconceptions. Abby, I don't know if you can help us with some of these misconceptions, or you'd go on with it or something. Especially in our society in Ghana.
Okay, so the misconception that I will talk about, you know, there are some communities that when a woman even menstruates, she's not allowed to do certain things.
Okay, like cooking?
Cooking is one. And there are some places, especially for places that, communities that sometimes you have to even cross a river or a stream. Yes, so imagine if the school is situated beyond a stream or a river, and there is a menstruating girl who has to always cross a river to get to the school. It means that for the 3 or 5 days that the girl will be menstruating, she has to stay home till she's free from the flow. Then she could continue activities with the peers. And then sometimes too, there are others that even in their homes, when you are menstruating, you are not supposed to cook for your husband when it comes to some cultures. And some are even asked to go and spend nights with other people or friends because they are menstruating. Yes. So some of these things that can be done away with. That is what we want to create the awareness that, yes, we have the taboos, the norms, but moving forward, some of these activities are affecting the girl child, they are affecting the women in the society. They are keeping the women on a lower tone. So let's give them the opportunity. If we continue to hold on to some of these barriers, it affects the performance of the growing child, especially the women and the girls.
Okay, Abby, you are in the health sector, so how do you think the inadequate access to these menstrual hygiene products, the sanitary pads, the tampons and all that, how do you think it affects the girl child?
Okay, in the absence of these products, a girl is menstruating and doesn't have any pad or tampon to use, meaning she will stain herself and can't go out. Some are even, in some countries they provide hot water bottles for menstrual cramps and all that, but in our society it's not available though. But in the absence of those things, during the menstruation and the pain, it affects the lady and some can't concentrate.
Yeah, it even brings down your confidence level and all that.
Yes. So
okay, so I mean, what can we do, to get over that stigmatization when it comes to like menstrual health? People like just as you rightly said, there are some misconceptions. If you are menstruating, you shouldn't go to the kitchen, you shouldn't cross some rivers, and then all of that. So, Abby, how do we get over this?
So like Auntie Ruth said, if the awareness is created, it eradicates those conceptions and then it takes those things off.
Okay.
Yeah, so you know that a girl menstruating is not unclean. It's a normal process the body has to go through and all that. Yes.
Okay. Ruth, so looking at chefs, looking at chefs' involvement in all of these. Okay, what major role does it play in the menstrual hygiene management?
Yeah, so as I started earlier, the unit was created. We do a lot of education when it comes to water and sanitation.
Okay.
And then we are looking at disease prevention, partnering with other stakeholders to do a lot of things when it comes to the health of the school child. So menstrual hygiene management is part of water and sanitation that we do in the schools. So what happens is that these days people are complaining that the products, menstrual hygiene materials are expensive.
Extremely expensive.
Yes. So we are looking at that poor child coming from a poor home that do not have money to buy these expensive sanitary pads. So we want to bring back the old by teaching them how to make this sanitary pads, reusable pads for themselves.
Okay.
So we are partnering with the girls officers. You know, there's an officer in charge of gender or girls. So we have them in the district, and then we have some reps in the schools.
Okay.
So we bring these teachers together, and then we teach them how to make the sanitary pads, the reusable sanitary pads.
Okay.
So
which
that
is different from the ones that our
the
grandmothers were using.
Yeah, the concept is from there.
Okay.
You know, they were using this cloths and then they wash it.
Yes.
Yes. So these days, if you tell somebody to just fold the cloth and then use it, sometimes it's challenging. So I think I brought a sample that we received from a partner.
Okay.
So that is what we follow to teach them. So it's very simple. These are some. So this is how it looks like.
Okay.
See. So you can just cut a simple fabric, and then
Put it inside.
you sew the strands here, and then you attach this bracelets. So this one is being put in the panty, but before then you have this to slot. You slot it in here inside, just like the parts that they use.
Okay.
And then you use this, you button, it goes around the panty.
Okay.
And then they are comfortable.
Okay.
So when this is soaked, you just get to the washroom and then removes and then put another one. And then keeps this. There's a small poly bag that they have. This one you can just use.
Yeah, any poly.
So any poly bag or any rubber, something that you can, then you remove and keep, because you cannot wash it during the contact hours while the child is in school. So but you can slot in another one and then you keep going. But in the absence of this, you can as well cut small towels. Use towels that are clean. You cut it in handkerchief size.
Okay.
You neaten the edges, and then instead of having this that you feel that if I have to sew, maybe it can be very difficult. You just fold the towel and then you put it in this. Alternatively, you can just cut a strip of it. You can cut it, a strip like this, and then attach it to your panties. The panties that you'll be using during your menstrual flow. You just cut the strip and sew it, so that when you fold the handkerchief sizes of the towels, you just slot so it doesn't shift. Then when it is soaked, you get to the washroom and then you change. So we are trying so hard to use the local materials available to the school child to make them useful.
Okay.
Yes. Instead of relying solely on the disposable sanitary pad that sometimes it becomes so difficult for them to get.
Okay.
So basically that is what we are doing. We want to get the concepts very well to our school children, and then they can pick it up from there. But for those who they can afford the disposable sanitary pads, of course, we
are going to talk more about how expensive the sanitary pads and then all those things are. I would like to remind you, please subscribe to our YouTube page if you have not done that yet, and prompt somebody who is not watching us right now to do so. If not, they're going to miss out, especially our brothers and our sisters. Yes, this is about girls. So our sisters in the JHS and in SHS, yes, please prompt them to join us in this discussion. If you are now joining us, you are welcome. You've not missed out yet because we still have more for you. Ruth is here, Abby is also here, and then we are discussing menstrual hygiene management tonight. I made mention that we're going to talk about these taxes that is based on these products, menstrual health products. But before then, let me ask Abby this. Abby, looking at the improper, the poor hygiene management. If one is unable to take care of herself well during these times, what are some of the effects that it has on the lady?
Okay. These improper ways of taking care goes a long way and holds a high risk on the lady. In future, it may cause birth complications, and then reproductive infections, urinary tract infections, and then after disposing, after menstruation, you don't wash your hands, it can even cause hepatitis B.
Oh, really?
Yes, and trash.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay, I would like you to please hit more on that for us.
Hepatitis B, it's mainly by contact of fluids from one person to the other. So if the hand is not washed, I touch and you also come and then you touch. I pass on an infection to you.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so hence the need for proper hygiene.
Yes.
Need for us to. And Ruth, do we do all these? Is this part of the educational programs that we have for them in the schools? And what role are the school itself playing?
Yeah. So we have a lot of educative materials that partners have helped us to produce for the schools. So whilst you were even talking, you said menstruation is a girl's affair. But when it comes to the education, now we are looking at bringing both boys and girls together. There's some of the information that is solely targeted to the girls. But when it comes to the general information, we want to give to both girls and boys, because we realize that when a girl comes to school and then when during the period soils herself, for instance, sometimes the peers, the boys that tease them, and then sometimes they do not even want to come back to that same school again. So when we realize that we want to educate them, if a menstruating girl refuses to take good care of herself, it has a lot of implications on her life, her health. So we have infections that she can contract, and then just refusing to maintain hand hygiene can cost her a lot. Hand washing is a do-it-yourself vaccine that with a simple hand washing, you prevent yourself from contracting a lot of infections. So we are expecting that even after changing the used sanitary pads, the menstruating girl should have the opportunity to wash the hand, and then frequently changes the soaked pad that she's wearing, so that she can she be protected from contracting certain diseases.
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, that is it. What I
Okay.
would say.
Okay, Abby. So, what are some of the practical tips or the advice when it comes to maintaining good hygiene?
The most important practical tip is hand washing.
Okay.
Like Auntie Rich said,
Said,
it's a very important task
Mhm.
when it comes to menstrual hygiene.
Okay.
Before and after you change, it's very important
Yeah.
you wash your hands. And another thing is by changing frequently, at least twice.
A day.
But if the flow is heavy, maybe you can change like 3 times or 4 times in a day. And after changing, how to dispose of the used material too is very
So
important.
correct.
You wrap it nicely and then dispose it off in a dustbin. You just don't throw it away anywhere.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Ruth, how does these communities or our own societies contribute? How can they contribute to when it comes to menstrual hygiene initiatives?
Yeah, that is what the essence of having a day set aside to create the awareness so that everybody becomes involved. We bring the burden bearers on board, those that can support. For instance, these days there are some queen mothers doing so well. They mobilize the other, their friends, and then they come on board to support the menstruating girls in the school by supplying them with sanitary pads. And then also, when you bring the community people on board, some of the social norms that we have that are barriers to the opportunities that we need to create for the growing child and then the women, we are able to break them. If you don't communicate so well to them, if you don't bring them on board to know that holding on to some of these social norms are affecting the women and the girls in that community, they will continue to hold on to them. But when you communicate, you advocate for their support in some of these things that we do, that is when they themselves will realize that, oh, we've held on to some of these social norms. It's not bringing us any, it's not doing us any good. So it's a high time we put those norms behind us so that we can give the opportunity to girls and then women to also aspire to higher heights. So it is so important that sometimes when we are, in the event of, celebrating or observing this menstrual hygiene day, we bring all these people on board. We advocate for their support in every little thing that we do in the community, especially when it comes to eradicating these barriers or social norms and taboos that affect the growing girl child in the community as well as women.
Okay. Abby, let's look at it from this way. How do we, the girls, I'm a girl, so we are all girls here. So how do we have access to affordable and then safe menstrual hygiene practice?
Menstrual hygiene products.
Yes, products, yes.
Okay. The common ones now are the sanitary pads.
But they're expensive.
Yes. That's why Auntie Ruth said they are trying to bring out something.
Yeah.
So without the sanitary pad, I don't know any other thing we can use during menstruation. Yeah, so
but my question is actually, why are these products so expensive? I mean, it's natural. It's not as if we the girls opted to go through this process. That's why a high price must be paid.
Yeah.
It's natural. So I think something like this should really come at a very affordable price that everybody, whether rich or poor, can have access to. So why is it that expensive? What is the government even doing about it? Ruth, do you have something to say?
Yeah, I think that some of these products are being produced by individuals and some companies that they also spend money when it comes to the cost of production. And so if I'm spending so much in producing these things, I cannot sell it to you at a cheaper.
But the taxes on it.
So what we are hoping to achieve by commemorating this menstrual hygiene day and all that, especially even in Ghana, both national level and then regional and the various level, is to create the awareness that it's a high time that the government waive tax on, you know, some of these products so that we can have it cheaper and then it becomes affordable to everybody, so that the poor girl in that poor community can as well access it and then use it and then prevent herself from contracting infections. Because sometimes I think that the idea of doing away with the use of cloth and all the towels and all that was the hygiene bit of it, how people were not able to keep it hygienic. So you need to, you know, you are teaching them to try and make it themselves and then also keep it clean. That you wash, you iron before you even use.
Okay.
But
going into that, let me let Abigail come in here.
Yeah.
Can you teach us how some of these products can be kept?
The sanitary
The
pad,
sanitary products, that the reusable ones that you're talking about.
Yeah.
Ways of making sure that they are always in good shape, that they can use if we are to go back to that.
That means we should wash them after use.
Is it like
wash
hot water,
warm
with
water,
some special soap,
warm
or
water,
something?
and then antiseptic.
Okay.
And then we can use this carbolic soap, the red ones, to wash, and then make sure to hang them in the sun so that it can dry properly. And after drying, you can go ahead to iron as well, and then fold them nicely and put them in an airtight place. Yes.
Okay, but then looking at, let's say, towels. When towels dry, they tend to become very hard. So wouldn't it probably drying very, like,
that's
bone drying?
When ironing comes in. If it's dry, and even if it wouldn't be dry.
Okay,
yes.
so like dry, it shouldn't be moist.
Yes.
Okay.
And after that, you iron.
Okay. Auntie Ruth, anything you'd like to add up to that?
Yeah. After we have ironed and then wash, iron, ensuring that it's dry, she said we can keep it. We have to protect it from dust. Yes, you don't just keep it anywhere, and then when you are in need of it, that you go and look at where you even kept it. You need to keep it maybe in a bag or something that can prevent it from dust. Yes, so that it's always clean for you to use.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm throwing this to the house to all of us. Like, is there any kind of policy or change that we think, when implemented, can help us when it comes to menstrual hygiene management?
I would say I learned, or I heard some people are lobbying with the government if they could set up a production for sanitary pads, and then it could be free for the girl child, so that instead of giving out condoms for free, they should rather replace with the pad. Yes.
I think that would be very great if something like that is to come on.
Yeah, so as I mentioned earlier, during the commemoration of this menstrual hygiene day, in fact, people from the ministry and all stakeholders are brought on board. So the discussion has started. We are looking forward to the government, you know, reducing or taking away the taxes from these menstrual hygiene materials, so that it will be affordable for everybody.
Okay.
I think the communication starts from somewhere, and then we keep pushing. We know we'll get there one day.
We'll get there.
Yeah.
It will take time, slow but sure.
Yeah.
Okay, we're just hoping for that day that that one would also be initiated. I mean, it would be great to help the people in these vulnerable societies, the villages who don't know, who can't afford these. I mean, some of us in the cities and stuff, we can, I mean, we say it's a necessity. We will definitely be able to purchase, but when it gets to these communities, it's a question. There's a very big question mark over there.
Yeah.
So we really need that implemented. We're about to end it all. Abi, I'd like to hear from you, like your advice or something for the girls out there, the girl child, you being our nurse.
Okay, my advice to the girl or the lady or the menstruating lady or girl is
Yes.
is to take proper care of themselves
We don't
during
have to be
menstruation.
shy, right?
No, not at all. And if you wouldn't have to be shy, that means you have to take good care of yourself.
Yeah.
Because if you're not taking care of yourself, you're always staining yourself.
There will be odors.
Yes, and if you are not taking your bath, changing, you know these menstrual bloods, they smell. They do smell a lot. So if your pad is soaked, you don't change it. You'll be in the midst of people and there will be an odor on you. And then to prevent the passing of infections, we should try as much as possible to wash our hands before and after changing. Yes, and during menstruation too, or even during menstruation, we should try to wash our undies and change panties. Some girls can use one pad for the whole 5 days or 7 days of menstruation. So we should do what? Wash, dry. We add a little antiseptic when washing, and then dry them properly, iron them to prevent infections
and smells. Okay. Auntie Ruth, so what does SHEP has for us?
So, my advice to the menstruating girls, my school children who are especially in the basic school, is that in as much as they are focusing on the hygiene bits of menstrual hygiene management, they should also eat well.
Okay.
You need to eat very well. They should stop eating the junk, the roadside food that are not healthy, and then eat the iron rich.
You know, it comes with cravings. So this menstruation, it comes with a lot of cravings.
But sometimes you just have
That's when you crave for ice creams, those sweet.
Yeah, I am not even looking at the week of the period. I'm looking at eating, ensuring that you eat healthy foods, so that you have your blood levels will always be good, and then you have good menstruation, because without menstruation we cannot have the human race continuing. So it is very important that the adolescent girl menstruates, to ensure that always we keep the cycle in place. Some are exiting, but we need to replace them. So if you do not menstruate, we cannot give birth. So it is important that we ensure that we are eating well and then keeping ourselves well. And then I also advocate for production of facilities, wash facilities that are girl friendly, that sometimes prevent some of the girls from coming to school, because when they come and they do not have places to change themselves, they do not, during the menstrual flow, they do not want to come to school. So the assemblies, the districts and the municipal assemblies, when they are putting up our school buildings for us, they should please ensure that we have our toilets and then our changing rooms in place, so that the menstruating girl feels comfortable in schools and then feels confident that when we are menstruating, it doesn't mean that you should keep away from all other activities and you resume when you are free from your flow. You can be menstruating and still be doing the normal activities.
But one thing also that sometimes keep the girl from school during menstruation is the cramps.
Yeah.
The cramps that come with it.
Yeah.
How do we get over these cramps?
Yeah. So for the cramps, I would say that sometimes normal hot water, keeping a hot water bottle at the abdomen will reduce the pain. And then I realized that I was experiencing that cramps when in the week of the flu, when I take in chilled foods, it added to that. So when I identified it, I started reducing the intake during that time. So you should watch yourself. Sometimes the things that we take in around that time also contribute. But when it becomes so severe, I think that we have to take it to the hospital and then seek medical attention.
Okay.
Yes.
Mami, painkillers also advisable?
Yes, painkillers. paracetamol is just okay.
Some of it doesn't work.
Yes.
Seriously. I mean, you'll be having it, you take the painkillers and it's more like you've increased the pain. Like the pain, it's more like a pain adder or something.
When the pain is that severe, that means you have to see
seek
the
medical
medical attention.
Yeah.
Okay.
But if it's not that severe, normal paracetamol is okay.
Wow.
Or the hot water. But if you don't have, you can use a towel and then place it on the abdomen.
Wow. Thank you so much, ladies, for joining us here. And that was Abigail Azuma. She's a nurse at the DSO Government Hospital in the Western North. And we also had here with us Ruth Edu. She is the Regional School Health Education Program Coordinator of the Ghana Education Service, Western Region. Thank you so much for joining us here for this discussion. We are really honored. I believe the education would not end here, but we are still going to continue to do it out there where we go. Thank you so much. And for you who stayed with us from the beginning till this time, I say thank you. And make sure you share, you like, you comment. This program is sponsored by the Center for Volunteerism in Social Transformation, CENVAST. And so for all your individual or corporate volunteering activities, contact CENVAST at info@cenvast.org. And also please follow us on all our social media platforms at Watch TV channel. That is on YouTube, on Instagram, on Facebook, on Twitter, and then on TikTok. Yes, TikTok, we are there as well. Thank you so much. My name is 𝐿𝐶𝐬𝐿, and this is the Youth Avenue. Until next time, have a great week.
Watch TV, promoting sustainable development.